All right, everybody, all you Move, Think, Smile followers, it's Adam coming at you live, and I've got a really amazing guy with me today. Originally from France, now living in Colombia, spends part of his time in Bali. And what's really cool is he's a fitness professional. And I'm just going to give the spoiler alert, Remy. And you basically turned $800 into $24,000 in the past 8 days by just making some tweaks to your marketing. So welcome, kind of let everybody know what's your role in the fitness world and kind of how did you get into this?
Yeah, so I started actually, I think 6 years ago with a marketing agency to help gym owners and personal trainers. And then I realized that they didn't really know how to schedule their leads, how to make them show up, how to enroll them, how to actually have a good offer, how to have the right mindset around all of those things. And so then I went away from being a marketing agency owner to having a transformational program. Before I was an athlete, I was part of the French national team of crew rowing. And so I was always into like sports, fitness, health, even biohacking. So I really love those things. I wanted to be location independent. And I really liked social media and communication and all those things. So that's how I started my business. Yeah.
Nice. Okay. And what's really cool is if you think about it, if we boil down your offer and who you're helping, you help burned out gym owners.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I help burned out gym owners, also some personal trainers, but I would say it's probably 90% gym owners who are burnt out, who don't really know how to handle the client acquisition side of things. And we show them how to, generate more leads and more clients. And most importantly, how to keep them as long-term members instead of just getting, clients that would stay for 30 days or 60 days or max 90 days and then would leave.
Right.
We have a process where we show them how to actually also help the gym members on their mindsets so that they stay. Yeah.
Awesome. And what's really cool about this, from a Move, Think, Smile perspective, our whole mission is to make this world a healthier place. And what Remy is doing is he's helping gym owners. And you can tell me if you agree with this. I've never met a gym owner who got into being in a gym because they wanted to make a bunch of money. They did it because they wanted to, spread the word on fitness. They did it because they want to help people lose weight. They did it because they want people to be healthy. Would you agree?
Yeah, that's the main drive. Each and every time that I speak with a gym owner for the first time, I always ask the question on a scale from 1 to 10, how much do you care for your members? And so the answer I get is 10, 11, 12, 100, right? And so sometimes they are not profitable and they have not been profitable for like years, sometimes 5, 6, 7, 8 years, they are not profitable. And maybe they have a spouse paying for the failing business, or they tap into their savings, or they have a second job just because they care so much. Yeah.
Right.
Well, actually, I would say they care kind of like too much, where they don't put themselves first. I believe that they should be able to pay themselves, and so that they can, because you cannot pour from an empty cup.
Right, exactly. So if we've got a gym owner who's burned out, is not feeling good, they're not maxing out their capacity in the gym, they're not having an impact on the world of health like we want them to be. Now, when Remy works with them, obviously he's got to do marketing himself. He's got to get out there. He's got to find these gym owners. He's got to connect with them so he can help them grow their gym, reduce their client load so they're not burning out. And so it's a big win-win. It's a win for the gym owner and it's a win for the gym owner's members, right? So everybody's having a healthier time. Right. But the reality is, marketing's gotten tough these days, hasn't it, Remy?
Yeah, cost per lead went up, I believe, since those changes with the iOS updates. I believe also because there is more and more advertisers on Facebook, Instagram. Just the cost per lead went way up. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, because it used to be like, and just tell everybody, you like to use webinar marketing, right?
Right. Yeah.
Okay. So you got a webinar out there and the cost per lead used to be what, like, I don't know, $8 to $15 per lead.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And where is it now?
25, 30, 40, 50. Yeah.
and it keeps going up, doesn't it?
Right.
And the reality is it's only going to get worse. And so a couple of weeks ago, Remy was out there. He saw something that we were doing, and he's like, "Hey, man, I've got my webinar up and going. Can you take a look at it?" And because it's not where I want it to be, and so he sent over a copy of this ad. I'm going to share this real quick, Remy, so everybody can see it. Hold on, let me share my screen here. I want to share this window, and this was what he sent over. And I'm not going to go through the entire thing because it's pretty big, but it's super detailed, right? We've got this thing. He calls out gym owners, what he does, and he goes, "It's on. It's long, and long ads can be very, very good, right?" It goes down. It's almost 2,000 words, and but what ended up happening was, were you getting any? Oh, you know what? No one can see it, can they? I got to turn it on. There it is. There it is.
Yeah.
So here's his ad. This is the ad that goes to his webinar, and it's really detailed. It's really in depth. And don't get me wrong, long ads can be very, very powerful. And this one was coming out almost 2,000 words or more. Like, it's pretty deep to go into a webinar. Now, Remy, what was happening with this ad? Were you getting qualified leads coming in and a bunch of enrollments?
No, I think I got one call from it. I think it was probably too long for people to just read the text. Yeah, I spent a lot of money on it just to get one call from it, so it was not necessarily working.
Yeah. And so what we did is we took that ad, we took all the concept that Remy has and what he's doing, and we used a process called think talk. At least that's what I call it. And it's really resonating at the level of the subconscious of where people are thinking when they have a problem. It doesn't matter if it's with health and wellness, if it's with their business, or it's with both, which is what we kind of work with. And when you do that, so we took his 2,000 word plus ad, we took it down to like 133 words or something like that. And what happened when we launched that within the first 8 days?
Yeah, cost per lead was much lower, and I was getting. I think I got 2 sales calls booked from it, and so that was for like $900 probably. I got 2 sales calls and I enrolled the 2. So I was quite happy with that because, well, $900 divided by 2, that's not a bad cost per acquisition.
Well, it's actually 403.7 when we first looked at it. So it's right around $800. And that included all the other campaigns that were running, right? At the time, or was it just the one campaign we were doing?
Just for those ones, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Just for this one. So we're talking about $400 cost per enrollment. So this is one thing we're seeing a lot of. People get so focused on the cost per click or the cost per lead that they don't look at the cost per enrollment. And that's the only thing that matters. And now Remy, he's got a high-end thing, and it's $12,000. And he was able to turn $800 to $24,000 in just 8 days by simply repositioning his webinar. He didn't change his webinar. He didn't have to redo his webinar or his masterclass. All we did is we repositioned his ad, we repositioned his registration page, and some amazing stuff really happened. Now, Remy, the 2 people, you were saying that the people who are coming in, they're really qualified, right? That they're super excited.
Super, super qualified. Yeah, it was easy to enroll them. Yeah, even though I'm not getting a cost per lead at $8 currently, the calls I get, they are like very qualified, and yeah, it was easy to enroll them. Oh yeah, what you told me also is just keep running the ads, right? At some point, I was like, oh shit, click-through rate is so, cost per lead is quite high. And then you told me, yeah, just let them run for 10 days. And then boom, first sales call booked. And then boom, second sales call booked. And then I was like, oh, well, it doesn't really matter if the cost per lead is high, if they book, and if then I enroll them, it doesn't really matter.
Right. So we have almost more than a 1,200% return on his ad spend in 7 days. Now, don't get me wrong. Right. The webinar, the masterclass, the workshop, whatever you want to call it, that does the heavy lifting. And he's got a great webinar. He's got a great thing. So, you got to give the credit to Remy here. But the reality is, if you got a great webinar, but you're not getting the right people into it, it's not going to do any good. So you got to get out in front of the people, in front of the right eyeballs. You got to get them to take a bold move, take action, sign up, and watch the thing. And that's what you do. So if you're out there, and even if you've got advertising, because we see this all the time, people are like, advertising sucks. It just drains my budget. Nobody's responding to my stuff. And I can tell you right now, it's not the advertising medium that's the problem. It's almost 100% what you're saying in the ad and what's on the landing page. And when you make it simple and you, like I said, you use what we call talk, and you start talking like people think, they really get in there and they start taking action. And I think it's really cool, Remi, that you're out there and you're doing this. And you know, and we're talking about the first week, right? And if we look at this over a period, I mean, even if your cost per, and you know, what would you rather have, $8 leads or $400 enrollments?
Yeah, $400 enrollment is great. Yeah. That's because what's cool also is that even though the ad is simple and it does get the attention, it's not gimmicky or clickbaity either. Because probably we could get cheaper leads with a clickbait ad or with a gimmicky ad, but then I don't really care about leads that wouldn't book a call later. So it's a simple ad that gets the attention, but that is not gimmicky and clickbaity. So yeah, that's what I like. I think it's kind of like dating actually. It's kind of like if I go to a woman and I'm like, hey, I'm Remi, I'm 33 years old and I was born in Lyon, and also I'm a online entrepreneur, and also I'm a digital nomad, and da-da-da. She's like, whoa, she's going to be like, hey, like we don't know each other. Right? And if I just say, hey, how is it going? And just take it from there, right? Just keep it simple. I think it's great without being gimmicky, right? Without being tricky. I think simple is good. Not gimmicky, not clickbaity, but simple. I think it's good. And then you take it from there, and then you have your landing page that does a bit more of the work, and then you have the webinar or the masterclass that does the heavy lifting.
That does the heavy lifting. I think it's really cool right here saying like it's not gimmicky or clickbaity, and he's 100% right, because if you want your advertising to work, and this is the same that goes even if you're making posts and you're doing organic stuff, if you want that stuff to work, number one, you've got to be speaking with authentic voice. So we're not using templates, we're not using fill in the blanks. Remi and I kind of went back and forth, and we like, okay, what are the big points here, and how can we make this so it's really uniquely to him that really puts him into a category of one that gets people going, wow, this is really unique stuff. I want to take the next action. I click on the ad. Then I go to the landing page and I'm like, okay, this makes sense. This is awesome. I'm going to register. And then it gets them to want to watch their webinar. And that's where Remi does his magic and gets the calls booked. And obviously he's experienced and he's able to enroll them. And I think, Remi, what's really interesting is you've been through some pretty high level business coaching yourself, right?
Yeah.
And, a bunch of and just out of curiosity, did they teach this kind of like super simple, like positioning?
No, they complicate stuff. Yeah. Just like I was.
That's awesome. And so, Remi, any other
I think
no, go ahead.
I think a recommendation I would have for your listeners here is to really explain your unique mechanism and how you are different compared to other programs or other coaches or other competitors. And if you're doing a good job at explaining your unique mechanism, then you're not competing with anyone else. And if you can do that progressively, that's how you can get a bunch of new clients.
Yeah, it's awesome. And for everybody listening out there, look, copywriting is not easy. Branding is not easy. Positioning yourself to rise above all the noise, because it's not like Remi's the only guy that works with gym owners out there. He's got competition. He's got some big competition out there. But the reality is, how do you stand above the noise when you're drowning in a sea of sameness, as we call it, right? And Remi, if anybody's out there struggling with their advertising or struggling with their positioning, what kind of advice could you give them?
Yeah, like you said, like it's kind of like the concept of blue ocean, red ocean, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it means that you don't want to be in a red ocean full of hooks and fishermen and sharks and it's bloody and there is just like 3 fish left in that ocean.
Yeah.
You want to put yourself in a blue ocean where there is a bunch of fish and you're like the only hook. And so you do that by putting yourself in your own category, and it's called category design, right? Because basically the king of the category would get like 76%, I believe the stat is 76% of the profit from the category. Just to give some examples, for instance, you have a Coca-Cola, Pepsi,
Mm-hmm.
and then the other ones they just share 10% of the profit, right? You
Yeah.
have Uber, Lyft, who knows? Then you have Google, Yahoo, right? It's like the number one gets most of the profit, number two does okay, and all the other ones they are struggling. You have iPhone. I think it's even more dramatic for iPhone. It's 86%. Then you have
Yeah.
Samsung that probably gets 10%. So then there is only 4% left for LG and Motorola and all those other brands, right? And so it's always like that because the human brain is reassured by the category king. It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't necessarily mean that the category king is the best one. And so you shouldn't try to be better than the category king. Better is never enough. Never enough. The ones who becomes the category king is the one who defines the category, the ones who actually creates the category. So if you want to win, you gotta design your own category so that you become king of it.
Exactly. That's awesome advice. And anybody listening to this, if you're in the realm of functional, integrative, or holistic health and wellness, doesn't matter if you're in fitness or you're a physical therapist, if you're a health coach or if you're a wellness coach or if you're a nutrition, if you're out there and you're trying to get people to come in and you're trying to really boost your client acquisition and you've tried advertising or you're trying posting and it doesn't seem like you're bringing in the right people, then I invite you to come over to movethinksmile.com, apply, and see if you qualify for a wellness business growth session. You'll talk to either myself or my partner, Elia, straight with us. We don't have a sales team. And we take this very, very seriously. And so, and I gotta throw a shout out to Remi. If you're a gym owner, right, and you're burned out and you're like, I'd really like to maximize my gym, right? Make this really work while reducing my load time, my hour spent in. I'm going to tag him in this. You can reach out to him directly. And that way you can get together. So all you gym owners that are burned out looking to max your gym, contact Remi. If you're on the other side of thing of wellness and you're really looking to, net 6 figures while only having to work 6 to 10 hours a week with your clients, then come on over to movethinksmile.com/apply and see if you qualify. You'll go through a little bit of form and see if you qualify for a complimentary session with us. We're going to get down and dirty. We're going to see what's working with your business, what's not working. We're going to talk about the ideal thing you want to do online. We're going to talk about those clients you love working with because we want to repel away those ones that we call in the United States non-compliant, or those are people who just complain, right, or don't show up and do the work. We also will talk about your pricing because what's really important is we want to set a price that's fair to the clients, but it's also healthy for the business. And Remi being at 12 grand, if you look at it, if he's helping a gym make 150 grand extra a year for the next 10 years, that's $1.2 million. 12 grand is a drop in the bucket. So we can talk about your pricing too. And then, of course, we'll talk about your income goals. And at the end of the growth session, if you're excited about it, we can talk about the next steps. If not, we'll honestly steer you to who can ever get to that next level. So come on over to movethinksmile.com, apply, and see if you qualify. On that note, Remi, man, I'm stoked to see what's happening with everything. It's been really cool working with this. It's always fun to take on a project. It's like, okay, I've got these ads, I've got this stuff. It's been working, but now it's not working. What's going on? And really just taking something that's existing, rebranding it, repositioning it, just tightening it up and just tweaking the front end of a campaign and seeing how amazing it is. I mean, $800 into $24,000. Are you smiling?
Thank you so much for your support and your help with that. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, man, absolutely. All right, everyone, come on over to movethinksmile.com/apply and we'll chat soon.